Welcome back, everyone, to the High Tempo Sports Podcast, episode 132. Today, we are back to talk all things Pistons, to talk all things Big Ten basketball, because right now there isn't anything like crazy going on as far as like lists for us to do or anything. We're
Like,
just
even
here
like
to
the
talk sports.
Yeah, even like the NBA MVP race, I was thinking we could do that, but it's like, how much does it even change?
And we've done it exactly. Like we did it like a month ago probably.
Yeah, I could move a couple guys up and down, but like, is it that big of a difference?
You know the gist of it, though.
Yeah.
You know like who's going to be there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
does
today
it really
we're
matter?
Talking about random, whatever sports is going on that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
Today.
Obviously, if you listen to our podcast, you know that we are big Pistons fans. So we're going to be talking a lot about the Pistons. But first, we are going to talk about Big Ten basketball. We're also going to talk about the MLB probably after basketball talk. But let's start off with Big Ten basketball first with the unfortunate news of the game last night. The Michigan Wolverines manhandled the Michigan State Spartans in Ann Arbor and get a must-win or a much-needed win. And it was just a really poor game from Michigan State because, one, I guess I'll just get my rant out of the way while we're here because I definitely have my MSU rants. But this was one of the better Michigan State offensive games I think we've had. We played good against Purdue, but we matched that game offensively. Like, we were playing pretty good offensively. Gabe Brown was having a good game. Jaden Akins was playing well.
Christie had a few nice plays.
He played decent. He definitely was turning the ball over a little more than usual, but even Matty Sissoko was playing pretty well for us. But even we have a weird rotation of bigs, but he was playing pretty well too. But we just sucked on the defensive side of the ball, which is usually completely opposite for Michigan State. At first, it was like Michigan, they're making every single shot. So it's like, okay, at some point they're going to start missing. But Hunter Dickinson was just that was probably the easiest 30 points he's scored in his entire life, I would say.
I would completely agree with you.
I mean,
it was like nobody was playing defense.
He's getting put on an island one-on-one, but it's not even like that. He's getting put in a one-on-one island on the block.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting great position, and then he gets the ball easily, and then once he gets the ball, it's like, all right, some guy might take like a fake jab step.
But they're not going to commit.
But they're not going to fully double. And it was really difficult to watch. It was just so frustrating because Dickinson is yapping his mouth off. But he's got every right to because we're not doing anything to stop him. And it's just like, let someone else beat us. And that's my rant.
So this was an awesome game, and what a good win after a tough loss to Illinois, where we shot the ball incredibly. 85-93 is such a high-scoring game, especially in the Big Ten. We played decent. We obviously want to beat Illinois. We lost it down the stretch. But coming into this game, again, your rivals, you're at home, you're wearing the cool-ass jerseys. Those jerseys were fire. Those 1989 throwbacks were so dope. And you came in and just dominated from the start. Caleb Houston had a good game. Eli Brooks had a good game. Hunter Dickinson obviously had a great game.
T. Will couldn't miss from three other than that air ball. But.
And he hit that one in the corner. I was like, I would hate to lose to that guy. Like, that dude he's equivalent to Joey Hauser to me. I would hate to lose to Joey Hauser too. T. Will had a good game. Musa had a good game. He makes plays on the court where it's like, holy shit. Yeah. Like, he is the future. He is awesome. I'm not one to criticize a coach like Izzo, but what has he been doing with the whole let's play behind the two best centers in the Big Ten?
I mean, this is several games in a row. Obviously, the game we were at against Illinois.
And then
the one-on-one defense, I feel like, was pretty good in that game. But like you said, he's getting the ball on the block every time. It's how good of one-on-one defense can you play when Kofi Coburn is this freak, huge person. Zach Edey, who has his career high against I don't know if it was career high, but it was his season high against Michigan State. And then this game, Hunter Dickinson has his career high against Michigan State. It's like we do have good big men defenders, but they're just not big enough to go against 7'2" Dickinson, 7'4" Edey. Like, Sissoko can hold his own, Marble can hold his own, Bingham can block shots, but they're just not big enough, not physical enough to stop him one-on-one.
It's weird to sit there and literally just wonder, why is he being so stubborn? Why won't he try fronting the post occasionally and help on the backside? I get we were hitting a lot of shots. Michigan was nailing their outside shots, so it's a lot harder when a team is shooting well with the dominant big man that they play through. but 33 points is half of what we scored, basically. A little less than half.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous. At what point do you change the way you're doing it? And
especially that's happened several
multiple
back-to-back
times.
games now, yeah.
Like Kofi is 7'3", monster. He's literally the Shaq of college basketball. And you're like, yeah, we're going to let him catch it and see if we can defend it. Send some double teams, and they played well against Kofi. I would say that.
Yeah, I think
And
out
he
of
had
those
30.
three big men, I think they played the best against Kofi. But yeah, he dropped 27 points, 29 points. Like, what
are we doing?
What else are we supposed to do here? Yeah,
Yeah.
like at some point, your defense is just straight up not good enough.
You have to change something. But who am I to criticize an absolute legend? And he's still one game away from breaking Bobby Knight, the Bobby Knight's record for most wins in Big Ten history, which is a feat that is so incredible.
Right.
Like, there are so many good coaches through this
It would have
Big
been
Ten.
awesome if they could have done it Tuesday night. It would have been if Izzo could have done it.
But would it have been? You would have been on a away gym.
Yeah, but at Michigan,
Yeah, and I get that. Like, the rivalry feeds it. It's really
Right.
cool for the rivalry. But how awesome is it going to be if they win it at State?
Yeah.
And they storm the court.
oh yeah,
they go
it will be
ballistic.
great doing that. But I think it would have been way cooler to do it at Michigan. I think that would have been, and to sweep them this year, I think it would have been
on top of the sweep. Would
exactly,
have been huge.
yeah. But
Couldn't-
it's whatever.
Couldn't imagine only beating your rival by 16. Couldn't imagine.
Yeah, whatever. Let's talk about the instance that took place in this game, though. Hunter Dickinson and Tom Izzo going at it on the court / on the sideline. I need your perspective first, because obviously we have different, viewpoints of what
Biases.
team we root
Yeah.
for. So let's talk about that. In case I guess I'll give some backstory if the viewers don't remember, but Hunter Dickinson was clearly going at either Malik Hall or Marcus Bingham. It might have been both of them on the bench after scoring on Sissoko multiple times, saying that he's a baby, and he's clearly looking at the Michigan State bench, talking a lot, yelling. And Tom Izzo was really not happy with it. He pretty much told Dickinson that you can talk to me before you talk to my players. Then Izzo ends up going to the bench and yelling at those guys that Dickinson was yelling at. So, which he ended up saying in the press conference that was because our seniors weren't or our upperclassmen were not stepping up in that game. It was all underclassmen. So, but let's talk about it.
It's one of those things where this is, like, in my opinion, I know you got Duke, UNC, and there's other ones in Ohio State, Michigan, but this is my favorite rivalry ever. It's been heated forever. When we lost by 16 this year, I was pissed. Like, I was like, this sucks. I thought we were remember, we were coming in as the number 2 team in the country this season. We underperform all year. Lose by 16 to our rival, who we played well against last year. Where was that this year? That first time we played, we have no idea. So in the second game, you come into it, Tom Izzo had made comments about what had happened in Michigan. Not that they were, like, demeaning towards Michigan about the handshake lines.
Yeah.
But definitely, like, low-key throwing shade about, like, yeah, right. Like, we're going to stop doing that here. Like, definitely
Right.
a little shot thrown.
It wasn't really at Michigan, though. It was just at the
No.
people saying that needs to go away.
And I get that, but like it stemmed from a Michigan issue. And he was however, and Hunter Dickinson has to understand at some point when you're yapping that much, just yap at the dude you're scoring on. Like, you're not in the league yet. Just yap at Sissoko.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, he probably doesn't give a shit compared to Marcus Bingham. He wants Marcus Bingham to know. He doesn't really care about Maddie Sissoko. Or Maddie?
I think so. Yeah, everyone says it
Yeah.
differently. Madi or Maddie. I just call him Sissoko.
I just wish Hunter Dickinson would have kept it on the court. Once you start going outside the court, it gets really weird because you're really, really showboating to the whole gym at that point. And to yap at Tom Izzo and Tom Izzo to get fired up as he did, you got to have respect for Tom Izzo. But at the same time, it's just such a heated rivalry.
Yeah.
It's just you got to dislike them so much. Not that you literally dislike them, but you love to beat them. You love to compete against
Right.
them and beat them. So it was good in a sense of, like, it's nice to see a Michigan player
he brought the
fired
energy.
up.
Like, he
Yeah.
definitely brought the energy that gym needs, because Michigan's attendance has been very poor this year. And so it's definitely, that place was packed last night and going crazy. So that definitely helps that when your star player is being as energetic as he was.
And that's part of it. It's just like you said, Michigan. We've had such a down year. We haven't been very great this year, and it's haven't been very great in what we were expected to
Yeah.
do compared to what we were expected to do. And I think that's like a culmination of all that energy of finally playing the way you felt you should have all year coming out, and you're just so excited and you want to tell everybody, and now you get to yap what you've wanted to do all year. You finally get to do it, and so you just unload. You unleash
and
it.
they've been playing well lately, and obviously the Juwan Howard thing has got these guys fired up even more, so that adds to it. It's definitely shout out to the refs, though, for not giving away any pointless technicals during that altercation. I think they handled it greatly. They pretty much went up to Izzo, went up to Dickinson, and told them both to shut up, and I think that's exactly what the refs are there to do. That was like, we don't give praise to refs much anymore because it's more bad than good usually with them. So I definitely wanted to say shout out to them because a lot of refs nowadays would have handed a double technical to both of those guys or even worse. So
it's refreshing to see a ref treated a little old school.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially because this is an old school rivalry.
Yes. But what I learned from this game is, and this is just going to sound like Michigan hate or like Michigan State bias more of, I guess. But man, I really don't know if I like Hunter Dickinson that much, bro. Like last year I didn't like. It's not that I liked him, like I was a huge fan of him, but like I did not like him last year. Like he was a good freshman for them. He didn't get on my nerves, I guess. But man, this year he's just, as a State fan, I just don't know. He might be coming up on that list of Michigan guys I can't freaking stand, especially after this past game. And obviously when he drops 33 points on your favorite team, that is going to make me not like him so much. So
yeah, and that's one of the things. Like some of my least favorite players for Michigan State have been your best players.
Right.
And it's the same way with, like, I know that Hunter Dickinson's doing, I mean, and I know you don't just hate on good players from Michigan because that's not true, but the way he yaps and the way he gets after, and he is very intense and very emotional, tells me that he might be doing something right if the opposing fans dislike him.
Right.
But his fans love him.
It's very Mo Wagner-esque.
Very Mo. And he even looked like him at some point.
Which would make sense why I dislike him.
Yeah, exactly. The only reason I can find to dislike him as a Michigan fan would be his Instagram captions. Fix him, dude.
He's corny as hell on Instagram.
He's corny as hell.
That
like,
is
I
facts.
love you. You're one of the best big men in the country, but quit posting that weird stuff on about, it's just bad. It's all bad.
So let's talk about the rest of the schedule for Michigan and Michigan State. Currently, Michigan, Michigan State, and Rutgers are all in a three-way tie for 6th place in the Big Ten right now. Michigan at 10-8 in the conference. Michigan is taking on Iowa tomorrow night at home, and then they play at Ohio State on Sunday. It's going to be tough, but they're playing well lately. They did beat Iowa about 2 weeks ago, and then they're going to be looking for revenge against Ohio State. Michigan State, on the other hand, heads to Columbus to take on Ohio State on Thursday, and then senior night against Maryland on Sunday. So State definitely has the easier of the two, but it doesn't, I mean, like, they're still, Maryland's not an easy opponent for sure. So
yeah, I'm super excited for the rest of this season. It definitely looks like Michigan's probably going to get in the tournament, hopefully with one win between these two games, and then a decent Big Ten tourney run. Really hoping we get to see Wisconsin in the Big Ten tourney. I think that game would just be so electric, especially because Juwan would be back for that game.
Yeah, I forgot. Yep.
He'd be, obviously it's going to be a different.
Do they just say, Juwan, you're done, and roll with Phil Martelli the rest of the year?
Phil Martelli's a genius.
playing.
Dude's a goat. He finally got the ball to Hunter Dickinson more and more and more, and they're running those pin downs all the time again. Hunter Dickinson has been balling as of recent. But I'm so excited to see what we do in the Big Ten tourney, and so far what we do in March Madness. I'm not expecting a deep run, but as a 10 seed with tons of talent that underperformed, you can make a pretty healthy Cinderella story type run with that team. I would love to see a Sweet 16 again, but that's a lot to ask for as a fan of any college.
I saw, I didn't see where Michigan was, but in Joe Lunardi's recent bracketology, Michigan State was an 8 seed. So, and I don't know if that came before or after the game last night. I'm not really sure, but I assume Michigan is probably like a 9 or 10 or 11 right there behind State, but both teams will probably make it. Last night, Wisconsin wins the Big Ten, or at least a share of the Big Ten regular season title after their dramatic win over Purdue. Jaden Ivey comes down the court, down 3, knocks down a 3 with like 8 seconds left. And then Chucky, I forget his last name, Chucky Hepburn, I think, freshman for Wisconsin, banks in a 3 with like a second on the clock, and Wisconsin wins a share of the Big Ten. They currently have a 2-game lead over Illinois, so it's going to be, they would have to lose and Illinois would win out for them to tie for the Big Ten title. But it's looking like Wisconsin, I think they play Nebraska in their last game of the year, so Wisconsin is more than likely going to be the outright Big Ten champs this year.
Yeah, and I'm watching the game, and the one thing I gather from it is, man, I hate Brad Davidson. I cannot stand that dude.
Oh,
he
yeah.
is
No one likes
awful. Jaden Ivey didn't look like crazy impressive in this game. He's definitely not looked as impressive as of recent than when he did at the start of the season.
Yeah, he didn't play very good against Michigan State either.
He's just not doing what he used. He's not dunking like he used to. He's not looking as electric, and maybe
He does take a lot of unnecessary three-pointers, I think.
He shoots a lot for a guy who struggled his freshman year with shooting. He doesn't seem. I get it. You don't want to look scared, especially to NBA draft and the Donovan Mitchell effect of a kid who shot 25% from three in college, but shot 6 attempts a game. That's the new idea with three-point shooters, whether or not they're confident enough to take them. So I think that might be part of it, just showing, hey, I'm not afraid of this shot. I just need to work on it. But Purdue has really looked worse recently, just not as good, and especially with Jaden Ivey isn't playing like John Morant.
Yeah, they definitely have fallen off. They are third in the Big Ten right now. They've lost 2 straight games. They're probably going to finish third in the Big Ten, so it's going to be a battle for this 4th spot, and because obviously the top 4 seeds earn 2 days worth of buys in the Big Ten tournament. They don't have to play till Friday. So Wisconsin, Illinois, and Purdue, I would say probably have locked up those top 3 spots. Iowa and Ohio State are tied for 4 right now, and then that's when you have Michigan State, Michigan, and Rutgers right there. So it's gonna the Michigan-Iowa game is really important because actually Michigan takes on both of those teams. So and then State takes on Ohio State Thursday. So things could get really interesting here in the last few days of this Big Ten play. Big Ten tournament is next week. I will be there. Easton won't, unfortunately, but we're going for spring break. Easton's, you're going to your own thing for spring break. So
yeah, I'll be down in Bama while you guys are in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
What your hotel you said was 5 minutes?
5-minute walk. It's like it's like right there, right by the stadium. So
guys, I'm going with that's Jack, Seth, Chase, Ivan, Jake. I'm so excited to go to Alabama. But to say I'm not a little sad I'm missing this Big Ten tournament would be a lie. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Right. But we will go again. This is not going to be the only time we ever go. This was just kind of like we kind of want to go. We're not doing anything for spring break. We might as well go. So.
And how many is it? It's you, Willie, Berryhill,
me, Willie, Berryhill, and then Parker's joining us on Thursday. So.
Is it Willie joining
us? Or not on Thursday, on Saturday.
Oh, okay. And
Willie's just coming right away with me.
That is so cool. That's going to be so much fun, bro.
So it's going to be weird because Michigan and Michigan State obviously are both going to be playing on Thursday. I mean, I guess there's a chance that one of them gets the 4 seed. There still is a chance at it happening. But they're both going to be playing on Thursday. I really hope that one of them at least can advance to Friday. I would hope both of them can because they are going to be the favorite team in both of those games. But shout out our dude Hardwood Trash Talk on TikTok. We're going to be getting the coverage for him at the Big Ten tournament, so it's going to be dope.
That's dope. I can't believe that we're to the point in our lives where we can just go to these things and like we've been doing, just kind of, hey, let's go to this game, let's go to that game. It is so much fun.
I know.
It is if you're listening and you're younger than us, which probably is most of you, save your money and go to sports events. It is awesome.
If you like sports.
Yeah. I assume you do if you're listening.
That is very true, yeah. It's fun, yeah. I'm super excited to go. I've obviously never been. And it's just going to be a whole jam-packed.
Yeah. So do you not leave the arena? You just sit in your spot the entire time?
It's in groups of games of 2s. So on Thursday at 11:30 there's a game, and then 20 minutes after is a second game. And then 6:30 is the second event. So there's a game at 6:30 and then one right after. So we will leave the stadium, obviously. And then Friday is the same way. Saturday is just the 2 semifinal games, and then Sunday is just the final game. So it's going to be hype.
My word. It's the best AAU tournament ever.
I know.
I know.
And the Big Ten is so fun.
And there's so much talent right now.
Yeah, exactly. We might not be the best conference, but God, the games are going to be entertaining.
Yeah, they will.
I can't predict who's going to win this.
Hell no.
Who's going to win the tournament? I have no clue.
Let's
talk about the biggest threats out of the Big Ten as far as
tournament runs.
Yeah, is this team a true Final Four threat out of the Big Ten? I like that.
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Hell no.
You don't think so?
No. The only thing with Wisconsin that could make them a contender is Johnny Davis. He's clearly the X factor. You get somebody in a conference, I mentioned this the other day, that has never guarded Johnny Davis, they might literally not know what to do. He is Devin Booker-esque, that good, legit crafty scorer, and especially when he gets to inside the lane. So you play a team that doesn't really see guards like him, might change it. But if you play an SEC team, they're all pretty fast over there, so they might be able to work around that.
Yeah, I don't think Wisconsin is a true Final Four threat either. They definitely could make a run, but I don't know. I feel like their ceiling is probably, or where I think they will lose is probably the Elite Eight, because they probably will end up being a pretty high seed. We'll see. Illinois, what do you think about them?
I think they're pretty for real at this point. After watching them, especially in person, Tim Frazier had an awful game.
Tim Frazier.
I do that every time.
Frazier.
Every time. Is Tim Frazier a former NBA player?
Yeah. He
That's
the
why.
Pistons, yeah.
That's why. Trent Frazier he had an awful game, and they still won and still put up a ton of points.
And he iced the game the other night against Michigan, too.
He is legit.
He is clutch.
And that's the scariest part about this team. They have a lot of guys who can just go off at any moment. I got them as a contender.
I'm 100% with you. I think Illinois for sure is a Final Four threat. They're like you said, they're super deep. They have an absolute massive human being that is just.
They run 4 guards.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much.
All their guys are small.
And Curbelo really hasn't even been crazy good this year. Everyone expected him to take this huge leap. He really didn't. But this team is still really good. Yeah, Illinois for sure is a Final Four threat. The Purdue Boilermakers.
Absolutely. The combination of Edey and Travion Williams alone, people realize, and I think people realize this, is the Big Ten has the best big men in the country.
Yes.
It just really does, and no question about it. Yeah, you've got big men in other conferences that are really good. Jabari Smith, he's 6'10", 6'9".
Yeah.
Chet Holmgren, obviously he's really good. Plays in the shittiest conference in college hoops, except they lose to St. Mary's.
Yeah.
And Walker Kessler was pretty good, but he's tiny. He's a twig.
Yeah.
The Michigan bigs are big guys.
For real.
So I think
even Travion, he's only 6'10", but
he's
6'9".
huge.
But he is a large, hefty guy. Yeah.
Yeah, and he moves extremely well.
EJ Liddell, another guy like that. He's not the tallest guy, but he moves fast and he's big.
Yeah, and that causes problems for other conferences in the tournament. Last year it didn't.
Yeah.
Last year it
we'll
straight
see if
up
it
didn't.
does this year.
I'm thinking Purdue this year between Edey and Travion Williams, and at any moment Jaden Ivey could go off and win you a game by himself. Final Four contender to me.
I agree. I do agree that they're tough. They're an iffy one for me
because they've been sliding too.
Because they've been sliding, but I agree they do have the depth. Pretty much everything you said. They have the star talent. They have the size. They have the shooting. Stefanovic hasn't been hitting his threes as well, but earlier in the year he was the best three-point shooter in the country. I'm gonna say that they are as well. Now we get into the teams that's they're the sleeper dark horse ones.
Yeah. These aren't quite Final Four
maybe
contenders.
Not Final Four, but are these sleeper?
Cinderella.
Yeah,
make runs.
Exactly. Iowa
No.
Hawkeyes.
Hell no. I don't like Iowa Hawkeyes. I don't think, and they do have a lot of talent. The Murray guys, dudes are nuts. Bohannon, as much as I dislike him, he is really, really, really good at what he does, which is shooting and playmaking. He's amazing at that. But to me, this team just doesn't quite have it. But they could prove me wrong. They're pretty big. They're pretty long. And they can shoot the rock, which can take you far if you get hot for a couple games.
I don't know if they're quite Final Four contenders, but I definitely could see this team making a Cinderella-type run. They've just been way too hot lately. They've won 4 straight games. Keegan Murray has really, been going crazy. Keegan Murray had another big game against State, too. That's it. We just can't stop the star players from going off.
They just dominate.
It's awful. But yeah, Iowa's been playing really well. They've won 4 straight. They've leaped themselves into the 4 spot in the Big Ten. I definitely think this team has a higher ceiling than teams all below them that we're gonna mention. These ones will be a little bit quicker. Ohio State.
I'm gonna go with just because EJ Liddell impresses me so much sometimes. I'm gonna go
I don't think so. I think Ohio State is a bunch of frauds. I'm not feeling it with Ohio State. Michigan State. And this isn't like Final Four, but this is the Cinderella. Can this team make a run?
I'm gonna go with no. I really am. And it's the turnover thing that is so scary with Michigan State. You turn the ball over too much, and you're just going to lose tournament games, especially in the tournament. However, them being in the tournament could mean, hey, we're going to quit turning the ball over right now. We're done. 5 turnovers a game from here on out. Take care of the basketball. You don't know which way it could go. This team I could definitely see it happening, but I'm going to go with no.
I'm going to say yes, strictly because this team either makes a run or we lose round one.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying yes, because it's one or the other.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not saying that Michigan State is some really good team, because we are not. Like, we have been playing yes, we beat Purdue. We played, I don't think we played that bad against Michigan. That's the thing.
We just played really good.
Exactly. We just could not defend. And I think we do have the speed to play with a lot of these other teams in the country. We don't necessarily have the size, but like we were talking about, the Big Ten kind of teams do have the biggest size. So it's not like we're not used to playing against teams with big size. But we're just so inconsistent. I mean, we don't have a true identity. We don't even know what our best go-to lineup is. Matty Sissoko was our best big man last night, and he hasn't played meaningful minutes all year.
And 2 games ago it was Marble.
Yeah, exactly.
3 games ago it was Hauser.
Marble was taken over. He took over Bingham's minutes, and then Marble didn't play that good last night.
Hauser balled out against Illinois.
Hauser's low-key been playing kind of decent lately. He'll hit threes.
Gabe Brown's had a couple good games.
Gabe Brown is putting it together, but we just don't. This team just does not have a true identity. So I'm gonna switch. No, I'm gonna go with no. I don't. This team, they are either gonna, but the fact that they could lose first round makes it a no for me.
Yeah. Is Michigan next?
Yeah, I'll say the last team, because Rutgers, I'm not counting them. Indiana,
no.
They're not making the tournament. Michigan is the last one.
Michigan, absolutely. Coming in as the number 2 team in the tournament. This is a team that I bet most teams don't want to play in the tournament in the first round, especially. A 6 seed doesn't want to play this team. A 7 seed doesn't want to play this team. They are scary because, like we saw last night, they can just get hot and dominate. We've seen it happen a few times this year, but especially recently. Michigan has been playing much better recently. If they come into this tournament, especially beating Ohio State and or Iowa and then making a run in the Big Ten tournament, you should be afraid of this team. They're pumped up right now, and they're feeling electric.
Yeah, especially if this team can really, clamp up, because the offense, I think, is going to be there. If Caleb Houston plays well, this team wins games. It's that simple. When he scores points and hits shots, they win. Illinois was the first game that he scored over 13 points that they've lost all year, and they scored a lot of points in that game.
And it's so true, because Caleb Houston gets it going, and Eli Brooks isn't going to miss open threes.
Yeah.
He just doesn't. Hunter Dickinson is probably having a good game if Caleb Houston's getting open shots.
And Frankie Collins, man. With some dimes last night. He had a really good game, too. So
the Big Ten should be afraid of him and Kobe in the future. They're going to be lethal. When they're both seniors, and I hope they stay for that long, they are going to be crazy.
Yeah. So that's our Big Ten talk. Obviously, we still have some seeding things that are going to happen. Next time you hear us, it'll probably be the end of the regular season in the Big Ten. So we'll see what the standings are. And
it might be a while. If I come back next Thursday.
Yeah, and then I won't be back. We're leaving on Thursday.
Yeah,
so
we won't see each other for a good week and a half.
Yeah, I know. We might have to do an emergency pod over the
Zoom podcast. Hey, call me.
We'll figure it out. But let's move on. Let's get this MLB bullshit out of the way.
MLBS, Major League bullshit.
Yeah. So that's good. That was a good one. The MLB, if you did not know, recently they did come out and say that they are canceling the first 2 series of the regular season, which is for every team. So it's probably going to be roughly a week and a half. But they've already not postponed. They've just canceled those times because they were unable to come to an agreement on a new CBA between them and the Players Association. They set a deadline for Monday night, and apparently they got pretty close in talks, so they extended it another day till 5 o'clock on Tuesday night, where they were unable to come to an agreement. The Players Association unanimously declined the MLB's offer to them. So as of right now, the MLB season is still not going on. A lot of shows and podcasts I've listened to talking about this do expect there still to be an MLB season. They say they don't expect anything more than a month to 2 months to miss, because obviously the MLB, after the really horrible COVID season they had 2 years ago, they've lost out a lot of money for that. So they don't want to lose out on any more money than they have in a sport that is, I wouldn't say is dying, because I feel like it's kind of low-key making a comeback, but
I'm going to say dying.
It was dying. I think last year was a good spark for the MLB, but this is going to make things much worse, obviously. There's a lot of different issues that are highlighting this inability to come to an agreement. The lot of the luxury tax of the MLB, it's not really called the luxury tax, but the players they have a huge disagreement on where it needs to be set at as far as contracts. There's a lot of issues with big and small markets as far as like the disadvantages between them. But apparently the Players Association, 43 days before the deadline that this MLB sent a proposal to the MLB, the Players Association did, and the the MLB did not respond to that proposal for 43 days until 2 days ago before the agreement was disagreed on. So
how do you do that as an organization?
Exactly.
The players say, "Hey, this is what we want," and you don't even respond to it. It's ridiculous. The weirdest part about baseball to me has and will always be that there's no salary cap. I think it's just the goofiest thing to ever think of in a sport. Be like, yeah, we're gonna let the rich teams just keep getting richer.
It's like there is a salary cap though, but it's like there's not like restrictions on it. It's really weird. Like there technically is a limit, but it's really hard to explain.
It's like hard to hit the limit. Like you can just go over it so easily.
Kinda, yeah. Like you can just spend out of your pocket pretty much, like as much as you want.
That's just ridiculous. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And I hope that we have an MLB season because this was the year I told myself I was going to get back into it. It's going to be really hard to get back into it if I can't watch it.
And it just sucks too because they kind of made it seem like they made it seem like it was going to because like nothing was going on for months and months, and then Monday they were like, "Holy shit, something actually happened." Like they're starting to agree on some things. Give us another day. And it was like, okay, they might actually figure this out. And it's like, no,
shit.
Literally none of them agreed. They unanimously disagreed. So it's rough. They did agree to a few things already, like the universal DH is going to be a thing this year or whenever we start playing again. And there's a couple other things that they already have agreed on, but there's bigger issues that it's going to take a lot of resolving to, like, I don't know. I really don't know.
Compromise.
Yeah, I don't know how long this is going to take. I obviously want the MLB season to be here, to watch the Tigers, watch all the teams. But as of right now, we got nothing.
Got no baseball.
Yeah.
First two series. Who were we supposed to play in those first two series?
Don't know.
Me either.
We'll figure it out.
We'll go to baseball games.
We'll be there,
summer.
yeah. We'll be at opening day. Don't worry. Whenever it is.
Who's throwing the first pitch out? It better be Ben Wallace.
You'll see us there. No, it better be Dan Campbell.
I think it's us. I think you and I just got the call to throw
a ball.
Oh, I throw a knuckleball. That's all I would throw.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, there really isn't a lot to talk about with it. We're not experts with everything that's going on here.
It's like our third sport.
Yeah.
Like definitely our third sport.
Let's talk about the Detroit Pistons, though. That's mainly what we wanted to talk about.
Detroit basketball. We need to have that as a sound.
We do need to
have
that.
On the board.
Yeah, we will make that.
Oh,
that
yeah.
was good, though. That was close
pretty
enough,
good?
honestly.
Yeah.
It sounded like the guy. If you did not notice last night, Cade Cunningham had his first poster slam in the NBA. Corey Kispert, what are you doing jumping with Cade Cunningham?
What were you thinking?
Hilarious, too, because Kispert got crossed up he got sauced by Sadiq earlier in the game and then gets postered by Cade Cunningham.
Corey couldn't get away from his college rivals.
But what are we talking about today with the Pistons? Because obviously we can just talk about them, but what is the focus?
I think the focus is on the future and what we want the future to look like. Because I've been seeing a lot of people saying the things we've been saying all year on Twitter. I saw a tweet the other day that was like, yo, I know this kind of sounds weird, but I think the Pistons are going to compete for a play-in spot. That doesn't sound weird, like next year.
I think they so could.
I don't see, if they don't, I think it's a failure almost.
At least if they aren't trying to, yeah.
And especially if we're going to get a top 7 pick. We have like 5 really good young players on our team. Now it's time to win. It's time to start trying to win at least and making the jumps. That mock draft that you mentioned sounds crazy interesting because I haven't seen a new one in a while. I want to know where a guy like Jaden Ivey is now going and where Johnny Davis is going because he's had his good games. He's had up and downs a lot. I am so pumped for this draft more than anything in the whole world.
I'm excited for this offseason. Like,
me too.
Because the offseason in general is already like my favorite part of the year. But now it's like my team is actually like going to be
part of it.
Yeah, like hopefully. Like obviously we got Cade Cunningham last offseason, so that's a huge part. But like that's why I'm so excited for I know it's off topic, but like the Lions offseason, I'm so freaking hyped for. we could spend a whole episode talking about the Lions too, but this is Pistons.
So to you, going into next year, what is your perfect like draft scenario? I'm going to give you like one big free agent to nail as well, like a free agent to nail. Who is your favorite? Who is like the perfect two that if these two happened, it would be unreal?
So I think, first of all, as far as draft position goes, I want the second or third pick in the draft. Now, obviously, if we get the first pick in the draft, I'm not going to sit here and bitch and moan about it. Like, it would be great to get the first pick again. It's kind of unrealistic to ask for it back-to-back years. I would love to get the second or third pick because I think the battle for the top three, I think the top three is untouched. I think it's still going to be Jabari, Chet, Paolo, whatever order. Ivy's Rose. Though in this mock, it has Jabari Smith going 1, Chet Holmgren 2, Paolo Banchero 3. And that's changed all year. I mean, earlier it was Paolo was 1 for a while. I think that 3's locked in. I don't think Ivy or AJ Griffin or somebody will sneak in.
Where's AJ Griffin from?
Duke. He's at Duke as well.
Gotcha.
But I have really thought about this a lot because me and Barry Hill talk about this all the time. Who do I want the most out of those 3 guys? I think the guy I want the most is a guy who I didn't want the most like 2 weeks ago. It's Chet Holmgren. I think I want Chet Holmgren the most. It's so hard though because I would obviously love Jabari Smith, but I think I want Chet Holmgren because I think he would fit best with Isaiah Stewart, strictly because Isaiah Stewart can guard the more physical, dominant big man. I think you can play them both together. You don't have to necessarily, but I think you can play Chet Holmgren with Marvin Bagley as well. Whereas Paolo Banchero, you probably can too. Like these guys are all so similar. I would love all 3 of them, but Chet's length and size and his like way he moves with the ball as a 7'2" big man is pretty unreal, honestly. Yeah. And he's been playing really good lately. And as far as a free agent signing goes, so let's say we get one of the 3 bigs in the draft, I would. It's hard because I assume we're going to get like a restricted free agent if we sign one of them. And that's going to be like, you have the top guys. DeAndre Ayton would be awesome, but I think it's unrealistic. Miles Bridges, obviously, I want Miles Bridges. Like, if I was saying my top priority, it would be him. I think.
My perfect would be
But
Miles
I really
Bridges.
don't think Houston or Charlotte is going to get rid of him or going to let him walk. I mean, I think they definitely, unless we are doing a sign and trade and we give him Jeremy Grant back, which could be a possibility. I mean, it definitely could be.
Yeah, it could be. But
why would they do that?
About that, yeah.
Why would they even do that? Because then they're just going to have to extend Jeremy Grant or let him walk in a year. So it's like you might have just paid Miles Bridges. Jalen Brunson obviously is there in talks, but I would like to get a shooter. I think that would be like the best possible guy to sign, like a 2/3 that can dribble, like he can, like
That's
honestly,
the thing. I don't want a strictly sharpshooter.
like Luke Kennard type player. I would like that because Luke Kennard can dribble. I mean, he can shot create a little bit. I know, and I just think of that because he was on the Pistons, obviously. A Buddy Hield-esque player.
That's the guy.
That's a guy I want. Now, obviously, I'd have to sit here and look at free agents because this free agent class is pretty bad. Like there isn't really many top dogs in this free agency. It's not very good. But at the same time, don't go out and spend your money on a guy that you don't feel that confident in. Like we don't need to spend money. We're in no rush. We don't need to trade Jeremy Grant either. If you want to, go ahead. But he's played really well the last few games.
So is Sadiq
and Cade. So it's like that's exactly what we wanted. But it's tough.
Coming up on this offseason, to me, like the perfect year is just strictly. I still want Paulo. Number 1, he to me he's like my favorite, and then it goes Chet, and then Jabari number 3.
And I don't know. Like right now, it's probably Chet, Jabari, Paulo for me.
See, isn't that funny?
But tomorrow it could be the exact opposite.
And then I would love to get Miles Bridges, but like you said, the Hornets. If you let Miles Bridges walk, I think you're just being stupid. Like I really do.
Yeah.
I think Miles Bridges is too good at this point. But I mean, Miles Bridges.
Kelly Olynyk did hit that game winner on the Hornets, and it's going to make him want to come to Detroit.
Or you could just trade Kelly Olynyk for Miles Bridges.
Those fans deserve Olynyk.
Facts. He hits game winners on them. 4 of them.
And they already got Plumlee, too. Like, it's a perfect match.
This offseason, and I have now hopped on I don't know if it's a train, I guess, but I'm now a thinker that you should keep Jeremy Grant. I do not see any reason.
Do you
to get rid
extend
of him.
Jeremy Grant?
Not yet. It depends on what happens. Do you have to extend him in the offseason?
If you either have to extend him no, you can extend him throughout the season if you want, but it's like he's a free agent next year, so it's like if we can't extend him in the offseason, like if we don't want to, we might as well trade him because then he's just gonna walk. So it's like, you either extend him or trade him this offseason.
Yeah, because nobody's going to trade for a guy that is going to walk.
It's one of the two. So
yeah, and I guess that's the thing. I don't want to extend him, but I also love the way he's been fitting in with this core, and I think he fits so well with everybody, and especially as of lately with how Sadiq and Cade and Jeremy have been playing.
And
this
it's
team
weird
looks good
because he's almost taken a back seat. But in the way that he'll let Cade and Sadiq kind of do their thing, run the offense, and then bam, he'll score 14 points in 3 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like he'll go. Like last night, he didn't score in the first quarter. He probably shot the ball twice in the first quarter. Like wasn't playing very aggressive because Cade and Sadiq were having good first quarters. Second quarter comes around and Jeremy Grant just starts going off, and it's just like he's feeding off of them. He's letting them do their thing, which he wasn't doing earlier in the year. So that's why I like that.
He's been incredibly impressive in this back half of the year, especially after some of the statements he made that really did like make me afraid when he was I don't want to go anywhere. I'm not number one like I am here. And in my eyes, you're number 3 in Detroit.
Right.
More like 2A, 2B for him and Sadiq. But Cade is number 1, no doubt. And it kind of made me nervous. Like, is he starting to think about this the wrong way and thinking he was part of this rebuild as our best player for a champion?
Yeah.
Like that's literally just crazy. Obviously, he's not good enough to do that. But now it seems like he's forgotten about those statements. He's comfortable being the third option, getting his when they come to him instead of going out and getting them. That's a huge difference in mentality, and it's a great mentality for your veteran, your star veteran, next to Kelly Olynyk, who's already incredibly unselfish, to be that unselfish and not care that much. Just about winning.
And the thing is, he's done that. Like he's played less like with the ball and let other guys feed, and he's putting up better numbers than he was before.
Easily.
He had 26 last night. Like, and he definitely was not the dude that had the most shots. He probably didn't have the ball the most. The night before that, or in their last game they won against Charlotte, he had 20 points. Like, he's allowing Cade and Sadiq to develop while also still getting his, which is exactly what I think he wants probably. Mm-hmm. And it's what we want. The Pistons have been playing pretty well since acquiring Marvin Bagley. Yes, Bagley has missed their last 2 games with a sprained ankle. They're saying he might be back for tomorrow night. We do play our Suns tomorrow night, the Toronto Raptors. So
children.
Love playing them because it's just an easy W every time.
They're literally our children.
Literally. So that'll be fun taking them on. Hopefully Bagley can come back. But in Bagley's absence, it has given Isaiah Livers his first true minutes in the NBA. The last 2 nights he has played with the bench unit as that 10th man. And he hit 2 threes the other night in his first game. He was definitely confident. He come out shooting the ball a lot, playing some defense. Last night he did get sauced by Ish Smith pretty hard.
But as a Pistons fans, we've seen Ish Smith sauce a lot of your favorite players.
Like Ish Smith is one of easily the most underrated bags in the league. He's just so quick. He won't shoot the ball. Like, don't expect him to shoot it.
He'll blow by you just to pass it.
Yeah. Well, like, he'll take a layup, but like he will not take a jump shot, a far away jump shot. But Livers, he only played like 10 minutes last night because it was weird. They played Magruder because Frank Jackson returned last night for the first time in like a while. And so they still tried to play Rodney Magruder a little bit, but then it was like, all right, now we're playing 11 guys. And it's like you kind of just have to pick one. They ended up picking Livers, but he didn't play a lot. But what has been really nice to me is Corey Joseph starting the last 2 nights against Charlotte, plays 22 minutes last night. He still starts, played 16 minutes last night. Killian Hayes has played over 30 minutes off the bench. And Killian Hayes, let me tell you, people, stop hating on Killian Hayes. Just because this dude doesn't score 15 points a night, the last 2 games he's had damn near the same stat line, 7 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. He's had something 1 or 2 off of those the last several games. The weirdest part, though, is that, remember at the beginning of the year when he was, like, actually hitting threes? Mm-hmm. He hasn't hit a 3 in, like, 15 games or something like that. Like, it's really bad. Like, he's not hitting threes
I didn't know that stat existed.
If he could hit 1 3 a game, that would just be so great. Like, it would be... But like that's not unrealistic. I don't think. Like
it's not unrealistic for any guard in the NBA
exactly.
to ask them to make 1-3 a game.
But he's been playing so much more aggressively off the bench. I think it might be time to insert him back into the starting lineup. I mean, he has gained that confidence. He is easily our best passer on our team. He's easily our best perimeter defender on our team. Like, people who don't watch the Pistons, they just hate, they have this narrative on Killian Hayes that he's this bust. He's like,
they've already decided he's a bust.
Exactly.
Killian is far from a bust. I hate to tell you.
And I'm not saying he's good. Like, he
will be.
Yeah, but I think his floor is still a great, like a Patrick Beverly-esque player. I'm not saying he's going to be gritty as him, but like
similar,
a guy like that's
defensive monster
is going to have a 10-year career in the NBA, defensive player, good facilitator. Like, I don't see why he can't be that.
It's just Killian's big, too. Like, Killian's not a small guy. He's a pretty big guard. And he is, like, defensively, it is amazing how good he is, like, on defense. When you watch him, he clamps up everybody. And he has been in that lobby through to Hami. He get a steal, and just instantly his eyes are up floor. Where can I get this ball to? Where can I go with it? He is such a playmaker. It is awesome. And I don't know if you do insert him back in the starting lineup because I love him running that second unit. And that's the way it has to be. Don't put Killian in the start just to put Corey Joseph having 25 minutes a night and Killian getting 16 minutes a night.
Which I doubt would happen.
Yeah, and I just hope you let Killian do his thing with the second unit still and still give him spurts of minutes with Cade.
Yeah, because he's the last 3 games he's played the end of the game the whole time, which is great to see because we haven't seen him run with the starters in a while. And then he had that crazy move the other night, that behind the back, tough layup finish. But I really do like that when Bagley's healthy and now that Frank is back, that 5-man bench lineup of Killian, Frank, Hami, Bagley, Kelly
is electric.
I love that.
Yeah.
I like, even though we suck, like that is an entertaining bench. And then we still have Isaiah Livers, who they want to start playing more. Jamarco Pickett and Chris Smith both were up with the team last night. I was really hoping we could see some Chris Smith, but he's not going to play yet. Well, we've seen Pickett.
Yeah,
we haven't seen Chris Smith
goat.
yet. Yeah, that is true. But the last now this team we're playing well enough where it's like, okay, we don't want to win too many games. I hate saying that, but like we almost won last night. Like we choked last night.
Yeah.
We were winning. But we don't want to win too many games. We're tied right now with Orlando and Houston for the worst team in the league. We all have 15 wins. OKC is next at 19 wins, so there is some separation there. But as long as we can stay in that bottom 3, I'm cool.
Yeah,
just stay in that bottom 3, but keep playing like we are. Keep competitive because I'm still rooting for them to win every night. Like
it's tough for me to look at this team of guys I like. There's nobody I really dislike on this team other than like Rodney Magruder, and I don't even dislike him that much. I just wish he didn't play. It's really hard for me to watch this team go, yeah, I hope they lose. I'm rooting for these guys to win every night because they're fun. They're a good group of guys who are just awesome. And like you said, that bench unit, I mean, you have spark plugs off the bench. Kelly Olynyk, there's a chance every night he goes off for 24. Hamidou Diallo will probably have 15 off the bench.
Yeah, and he'll get 2 steals.
Marvin Bagley's going to catch 3 lobs from Cade.
Bagley's been nice, too.
He fits. So he will be a Piston for a while.
I wonder when they're going to, because remember last year they pretty much just like sat Jeremy Grant for the last so many games. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they're going to do that this year. They probably won't since he missed so much time already earlier in the year. That's already
all their losses. Like that's their equivalent.
Maybe Corey Joe gets benched and Saban Lee gets some more minutes. Who knows? But yeah, the Pistons have been entertaining in 2022 and just like especially since the trade deadline too. We haven't. This is knock on wood. We have not gotten blown out in a while. In like at least a week or two, which is great. Because like we beat Boston right before the All-Star break, and then we played them again, and like it was a tight game when we lost to them, and they've been a really good team lately. Like this Pistons team, I don't think is as bad as our record shows.
No, and we haven't been healthy all year.
Yeah.
Jeremy's been battling injury. Oh shit, now Cade's injured. Oh, Cade, the Sadiq's gonna miss a little bit of time.
Frank's been out for a while.
Kelly Olynyk was out for 8 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
He's one of our best players, literally, like our 3rd best player,
with Beef
4th
Stew,
best player.
a foul-prone player.
Yeah.
Cade needs to stay out of foul trouble too. That's the other thing, because he cannot stay out of foul trouble lately, and it sucks because it leads to more Corey Joe minutes. And
it's like Cade.
We just need Cade to play.
You watch the Pistons to watch Cade. It's like the number one reason that we watch Cade.
Easily.
That we watch the Pistons.
Cade, my favorite shot out of Cade is that elbow mid-range shot. That is cash damn near every single time. Like coming off a screen, he will make that every single time.
I love watching long passes. I think that's low-key like my favorite thing about basketball is like long skip passes to me are awesome. When somebody skips the ball across the court for a wide open three, that is my favorite play in all of
Cade and
basketball.
Killian do that.
All the time.
Yeah.
Killian is doing it damn near every play. Like. He'll skip to a corner.
I know.
It's awesome. Having two dynamic ball handlers like those two who are so good at facilitating is just so much fun to watch. I mean, everybody's getting involved. Everybody's getting a piece. It's dope.
So you said Boncaro is the guy that you want, though. So if that's the case, do you think that's when we trade Jeremy Grant? Because this team right now, I mean, we have 10 rotational guys, and we don't have any guys that are like free agents at the end of the year.
Yeah, we don't have many wings, that's for sure. Like
Yeah.
Jeremy sliding to the three kind of works.
Is a
but then you have
possibility.
Crazy big man rotation. You have Paulo, who needs minutes. You have Isaiah Stewart, needs minutes. Kelly Olynyk needs minutes. Marvin Bagley, who you just traded for.
Yeah.
And has
Bagley's
been
our only free
very
agent.
promising. And we have to re-sign Bagley.
I think so, too.
He's been too. I really hope some other team doesn't think to pay him like they did Christian Wood. I hope he can just be our little gem for like, give him a 4-year contract.
Because he is restricted. So, I mean, if some team offers Bagley like a bag, that would kind of suck ass. But even if we just give him like a year, like a 1-year deal, 1 year, $15 million contract, give him another year to like
1 year,
see-
$15 million?
Yeah, just
Is that
to,
like what he's worth?
I don't know. I'm just saying, like, just to, because I don't think he would get 15 mil long term. But
Yeah.
like for 1 year, like we have 15 mil to spend.
Yeah, you're right.
Whatever, just give it to him. See how good he can be in this year, and then it's like, okay, now do we want to? Because if we do draft one of these big men, like you said, we do have a lot of big men at that point with Beef Stew, whoever we draft, Jeremy Grant, Olynyk, yeah, but he's not long term here. Like I could see, I could see us trading him this offseason. So it's interesting. Like I love Bagley. Like I think he is here to stay, and that's kind of why I want Chet. I think he fits best with Chet. That 3-man big rotation, I would
exactly.
love.
And he
I
can-
do think
yeah.
we do got to trade Jeremy Grant. Though. I don't know. It's so difficult.
He could play the 3. There is a world
He could, but
where
we have
Jeremy
Sadiq
slides
Bey.
right to the 3. He slide to the 2.
But like that's never happened. Like
Have
that, I
Killian
feel like
run the
that's
big
so
rotation.
unrealistic. Though.
I know. That's like a 2K my team.
Right, yeah.
and I get that. But it'd be awesome to see
And
the
Cade has
Pistons
yet
do
to
it.
play with like out another guard. Like
Yeah.
he plays, which
With
is
Corey
which is
Joe
a
or
Dwayne Casey
or
thing.
Killian.
But
Yeah,
I
I
don't
never
know.
realized that is a. I mean, you got Kyle Lowry, DeMar, Kyle Lowry, Freddie.
Yeah.
Both went through Dwayne Casey. Now you got Killian and Corey and Cade. That's interesting. I've never realized that.
which I don't mind that. Like
No,
I would
me
be
either.
fine with like if we get Jaden Ivey, you know, and like that would be something I don't mind. But we'll keep an eye on the Pistons, how they do the rest of the year. Obviously, we're not in contention for anything. So do you want to talk about this mock draft?
Yeah.
So I wrote down the top 10, and then I just wrote down like because this was a full 2-round mock, and then just wrote down like highlights.
Who did it? Like CBS Sports?
Bleacher Report did.
Oh, gotcha. You said that.
So Jabari Smith, first overall to the Magic. Chet Holmgren, second to the Pistons. Paulo Banchero, third to Houston. I don't see Orlando not taking Chet Holmgren if they have the first pick, just because of like Holmgren and Suggs have that relationship. They played high school together, so
Which
I
is
don't know.
crazy.
I
They're
feel
gonna-
like
they have an opportunity to play at every level together.
right. Well, they didn't play college together, but they just
Oh yeah,
they just
yeah.
went
they
to
both
the same
yeah,
school.
yeah.
And then yeah, between Chet and if let's just say Jabari Smith goes first, do you take Banchero over Chet?
It is so
tough.
And like
It's
right
so
now,
hard.
I'm taking Boncaro. But like Chet probably fits with the Pistons better. But I think Paulo is just
What
like,
if Detroit
so
just falls
exciting.
to like the 6th pick?
we
bro?
get Johnny Davis or
Yeah,
Jaden
I know,
Ivey.
but it's just like
I know it's not.
I would much rather just get one of them top 3 guys. But fourth
I think
pick,
Johnny Davis could be the second best player out of this draft, third best player type guy. I when I watch him, he's seriously impressive.
there
me.
definitely is a shot at that. Yeah. Fourth pick, Oklahoma City Thunder. They have them taking Jaden Ivey. I don't know. I mean, like I do think Ivy like probably is gonna be the top candidate to go fourth out of right now at least. But with OKC
Doesn't
there,
make any sense.
yeah, I don't know. Because I've been seeing some AJ Griffin sneaking in at 4, but Ivy there at 4. Fifth pick is another Big Ten player, Keegan Murray, going 5th overall to the Indiana
Whoa.
Pacers, which would be, I mean, that would be a good fit for them because they kind of need a 3/4 type player. Tyrese Halliburton is a great player, so you don't really want to commit to full rebuild mode.
That's like the hyper athletic dude from Iowa, right? He's actually like crazy.
but he's just like
athletic.
a crazy good scorer. Like he's an elite 3-point shooter, just a great all around player, honestly. But they got him going 5, which I've seen most mocks. I've seen him like around like the late 10s, like the 8-9 spot. So I haven't seen him go this high yet, but he's been playing really well lately. 6 pick, Sacramento. They have them taking AJ Griffin. Makes sense. He's like a wing player, which they don't need more guards. Which, I mean, I guess they did just trade Tyrese Halliburton. But 7th pick, another Big Ten player, Johnny Davis, going to the San Antonio Spurs. That would be a dope
That would be
fit.
fire, dude.
Dope.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He'd be a perfect in a San Antonio offense. 1-2 dribble score.
Yeah.
Like, that would be lethal.
Or we trade
Down and get DeJounte.
We trade Jeremy Grant to the Kings for the 6th pick in the draft. Get Johnny Davis and Chet Holmgren.
Oh, don't talk to me like that.
No, they're not gonna do that for Jeremy for the 6th pick.
Could you imagine? We'll give you Jeremy.
That's something the
Olynyk.
Kings would do.
Yeah, they're just trying to make playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to make the plan.
Yeah, we'll give you Olynyk too, just cause.
Here's Olynyk.
We might have to give him, and we'll probably have to give him like Hami, just like
That's okay.
Yeah.
If you're getting Johnny Davis and Chet out of one draft, you give up almost everything.
Yeah.
You could give up a lot.
That's not gonna happen.
Never.
8th pick, the Knicks are taking Shaedon Sharp out of Kentucky. Still don't really know if he's going to be in the draft or not, just because hasn't played yet in college and he's not going to play this year. But he's eligible for the draft. So if he's got top 10 talks, I mean, I don't see why he wouldn't go. 9th pick is Jalen Duren to the Portland Trailblazers.
He's fallen quite a bit.
He's
now.
fallen a good amount, yeah. And then the 10th pick is also Portland Trailblazers, going with Benedict Mathurin from Arizona. But then talking about just like some highlights, OJ Abaji from Kansas at 12. Marjan Beauchamp is the first G League guy off the board at 13.
Wow.
Walker Kessler at 18 to the Spurs. EJ Liddell at 21 to the Mavericks. Patrick Baldwin Jr. has fallen to 24th after going to Milwaukee, Wisconsin over Duke. So
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What an awful
then
decision.
you look at how AJ Griffin is doing at pick 6. So
where any Big Ten guys? Like any Michigan State, Michigan guys?
Yeah, so quickly, Jaden Hardy has fallen to pick 27. He was a top 10 guy at the beginning of the year, so that's a big fall for him, another G Leaguer. Oscar Tshiebwe from Kentucky is 32. And then Max Christie is 33rd overall to the Indiana Pacers, which is interesting. I still don't know if Christie's going to leave or not. I really don't think he's going to, but I don't know if he can really ball out these last couple weeks, get some first round interest. I could see him leaving. And then 37 is Caleb Houston to the Cleveland Cavaliers, which I do think Caleb Houston's going to leave.
No, I do.
Because he's been playing well.
A little bit.
But I don't know, because the mocks I saw 2 weeks ago had him going first round, and then this one has him in the second round. So I don't know. Trace Jackson Davis is 57th in this, and Johnny Juzang is 52nd. So
do you think players pay attention to these mocks?
yeah, I bet they do.
You think Caleb Houston went and checked this mock?
I bet their agents do. Or
Yeah.
wait, no, they don't have agents yet. Actually, they probably do now that they have NIL or whatever.
I bet you they
But yeah, I bet they see it. I
Yeah.
bet they see it.
do.
Yeah.
They definitely see it. Do you think they take it into consideration? Or do you think they just listen to
Probably.
NBA teams saying, we kind of want you?
It's probably more of that,
Yeah.
because the NBA teams, I don't think they can talk to the players yet, but
Eventually they can.
I bet it does affect some players. I guarantee some of them it does. Jaden Hardy seeing himself fall to 27, and there's 3 other G League guys going before him.
And Musa.
It's kind of Musa's not on there.
Is on there.
So
If we get Musa and Hunter Dickinson both back next year.
you will. I don't think either of them.
Yeah, me
leaves.
either. But Musa has played well enough that at moments where he looks like an NBA player. And it's
Yeah.
his build. He's such an NBA player build.
Definitely, yeah.
So I could see him leaving just off that. Hunter Dickinson's here to stay, but
Unfortunately.
I could see Musa and both Caleb Houston leaving. But definitely, with the way Caleb Houston's been shooting the ball lately, it's just
Yeah,
how
for real.
could you not go? He's a 6'7", 6'8" wing who can just shoot the shit out of the ball. How do you not go?
Especially as a freshman,
Yeah.
you might as well. So let's talk about quickly just some NBA talk, because right now there's a lot going on in the NBA. There's a lot of competitiveness going on, especially in the Eastern Conference, even in the Western Conference, because Chris Paul is going to miss most of the regular season with his thumb injury or whatever. So the Suns aren't really as dominant as they were. Let's do true contenders in the NBA. Which team is a true contender as far as is this team a true contender? I'm just going to throw some teams, kind of like how we did with Big Ten.
I'm going to try and rapid fire this.
All right.
As fast as I can come to a conclusion, I will.
1 seed in the East, Miami Heat.
Pretender.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going contender for Miami Heat. I think that they are kind of being slept on just because they don't have like the Joel Embiid, the Giannis Antetokounmpo. But I don't know. I think the Miami Heat, their depth and they have the perfect balance of great defenders and great three-point shooters. So I think that's what makes them a contender to me. Phoenix Suns.
Oh, absolutely. They're real. For real.
Yeah,
they're
for
like
sure.
the most real team.
And when I say contender, I mean like, can this team win the championship this year?
Yeah.
Golden State Warriors.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with yeah.
I think
Draymond's been out for so long.
I think so too. Boston Celtics.
Hell no. They have a chance to muck up the playoffs.
Yeah.
Mess something up. Beat a team they're not supposed to beat. But win a finals, absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm going to go no too, but they have been playing well lately. Jaylen Brown did get hurt, but I think he's not going to miss much time at all. So, yeah, I'm going to go no, but I definitely could see them making like a conference finals run.
Yeah.
Dallas Mavericks.
No.
No.
Not even.
They've been playing better since
and they
their
have
trade.
been.
And Luka has been playing really good.
They're gonna muck up the playoffs. They're gonna either force a first round 7-game series or B make it to the conference.
I
finals.
hope they can win a series
Me too.
this year because they haven't yet with Luka. And if they get 3 straight first round exits, like,
It's a bad look.
what do you do now? Yeah. Chicago Bulls.
I'm gonna say, oh man, that's the most difficult one, dude. Because I usually have no idea.
They're so tough.
I'm gonna go with Pretender, just because I haven't seen a team with so many non-shooters make it to the finals, and I really can't see it. But like DeMar DeRozan's the most efficient player of all time in the last 28 games, 30 games, whatever. So that is so difficult, dude. I'm gonna go Pretenders.
I'm with you too. I don't think they are the true contenders. Just because there's so many other teams in the East that I think are. Yes, this team could make a conference finals, but I don't think they can make the NBA finals. I don't think they can win the East, which is going to be really hard to do this year. The Milwaukee Bucks.
Contenders. Absolutely. They play so well. They have been kind of struggling lately, right?
Yeah, they have a losing record in 2022.
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild.
But like it's Giannis. We saw him literally drop 40 on like one leg last year in the finals. So I'm gonna say contenders.
They are contenders, but they scare me. I think that a lot of me included, I was really thinking like after the trade deadline, Milwaukee is still the team to be in the East. I really don't know if that's the case anymore. I think there might be 2 or 3 teams that are better than them right now. So that's really tough. The Utah Jazz.
Pretenders, because they've been pretending for 10 years. Like, literally for 10 straight years have been pretending.
Yeah. Oh, they're tough, dude. They're so tough. Because I could see them making a sneaky run. Donovan Mitchell's been playing good. Gobert's healthy.
Will they make it to a finals and win it, though?
I think the Jazz are contenders. I'm going to give it to them. I think the Jazz are contenders.
That's interesting.
It's tough, but I think the West, low-key, is kind of wide open.
No, both of the East and the West are
The
wide
East are
open.
too, but I do think there are like the true. Hey, yeah, you're right. I
think they're both wide open.
The Brooklyn Nets.
Contenders, absolutely. Brooklyn is it's the superstar, the top heaviness, and I guess they have depth now too, so they're the scariest team in basketball.
Yeah, Brooklyn is a contender, but they are 32-31 right now, and currently they would have to play Miami in the first round, which is not an easy task, so they're going to have to start winning some games. But Kevin Durant is coming back tonight, and they do play Miami, actually, so that'll be a great game. But, yeah, they're definitely contenders.
And there's a lot of what-ifs with that team. What if Ben Simmons comes out and shits the bed? And what if Ben Simmons comes out and plays
like an all-star?
Plays like LeBron, you know?
Here's a tough one. The Los Angeles Lakers.
Like the shirt I'm wearing, it actually says finals champions on it, I think.
Yeah.
It says champions, not finals, but they did win the finals from this shirt. Pretenders. It's just at this point, the whole season feels like a wash for them. The Lakers suck. The fans hate the Lakers. Bron, as much as he's been doing, not enough. It's getting worse. He's getting more hate.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, just a ton of it. Unwarranted hate. Look at it. Austin Reeves starts for this team. I don't think he starts, but he gets a ton of minutes.
They just waived DeAndre Jordan, too.
Malik Monk is their 3rd best scorer.
Yeah.
Malik Monk was almost out of the NBA 2 years ago. This team is really, really bad, and I don't know why LeBron gets blamed for so much of it, but they're pretenders.
Lakers are for sure pretenders. Absolutely not contenders. I mean, for a while I was thinking this team is it was before AD got his second injury, and it was like, I think this team can put it together and get out of the play-in tournament, get to like a 6 or 5 seed, and maybe make like a conference finals run. There's no way. There's no way this team does. They're so bad. Their roster is horrible. They're the 9th seed right now. They're 7 games under 500. Like, they're going to make the play-in tournament because Portland, San Antonio, Sacramento, none of them teams are going to get in. So they're going to at least make the play-in tournament. But, gosh, I mean,
they suck.
They're 2 games out of the play, like out of missing the play-in tournament.
Yeah, which is who gets in if they don't get out?
Portland.
Yeah, exactly. Portland sucks.
Portland is tanking.
They just committed to a full rebuild.
Yeah, Damian Lillard is out. They traded everyone. Like, come on. Yeah, Lakers absolutely not. I had another team that I thought was no, there's a few more actually.
Yeah, there is.
The Memphis Grizzlies.
Hold on. Oh, that one's crazy interesting.
They're tough.
I'm going to go with contenders here. John Morant is literally having a Derrick Rose-esque season. What did we say about Derrick Rose's Bulls? They were contenders. This team is legit and is, third right now in the West?
43-20.
That is ridiculous. They're up there with the Warriors and the Suns. Yeah. The Warriors, the Suns, the Jazz are surrounding them. They are contenders in my eyes. Just because John Morant could do what Jamal Murray did for a series for the whole playoffs. I wouldn't even be amazed. I wouldn't be surprised, is what I should say.
Yeah, Memphis is definitely contenders, I think. I definitely think this team could make the NBA Finals. Win it, it's going to be tough, but this team has a lot of big wins. They have a lot of big wins. They play good against big teams.
They beating big teams. They have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Winning. This team, that's the difference with this team, is they have so much fun when they win games. Yeah. You can just clearly tell they love to win. That is huge.
For sure.
That is like it. And John Morant's 52 is probably enough for everybody to say they're contenders.
Oh, for sure.
That 52 was one of the most ridiculous 52s I've ever seen.
The Cleveland Cavaliers.
Pretenders.
Yeah,
just don't have enough.
They just don't. They can take a team in the first round and like take them to 7. I don't think they get out of the first round though.
Me either. But I am kind of low-key rooting for Cleveland.
Yeah. 2 more. The Philadelphia 76ers.
Hell yeah. You have Joel Embiid and James Harden. You're a contender. You have two top 10 players in the league. It's Harden. Top 15.
Yeah, you have 2 top 10 players in the league.
Right there, absolutely. You're a contender.
Yeah, I think definitely contenders. Last one. I saved this one for last because I think it's fun. The Denver Nuggets.
You picked the worst time in the season to make this. I mean, if you would have went 2 months ago, I would have said absolutely not. But in a month, they could be.
These guys are going to be back.
Yeah, like, their whole team is
are
going to be healthy.
Porter Jr. and Murray are returning.
I'm going to go with
we
contenders.
Don't know what it's going to look like.
I'm going contenders. I've seen Jamal Murray in the playoffs. It was amazing. and Jokic wasn't an MVP at that moment. He was a candidate, but he is now a bona fide MVP. Top 5 player in the league. Top 3.
Yeah. I also agree. I think they are contenders just because 5. The West is, like I said, I feel like the West is very wide open. They get these guys back. I think, why can't they win it all?
Jokic is not top 3 all time or all in the league right now. I don't know why I said that. He's probably top 7.
He's like top 5, arguably top 5.
Yeah. You can argue wherever. I don't care.
Yeah. So let's do this last thing. I had a little NFL game I wanted to do. It's very quick. It's about quarterbacks.
Okay.
So we're playing one more year or move on. NFL QB edition. I'm going to name you NFL QBs. Do you think this team should give him one more year as the starting QB or move on this offseason? Like find his replacement via trade or via draft this offseason.
Got it.
Or do you wait another year? First one, Daniel Jones.
You give him another year. Absolutely, you give this guy another year. Kadarius Toney at one point looked very promising last year. There's no reason he doesn't keep up and do that for all 16 games this year. You still have good wide receivers in Kenny Galladay, who might not be a good receiver in all honesty. It might have been just Matt Stafford making him look good. But we'll see. You give him another year.
I think so, too. I definitely think Daniel Jones deserves another year. Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, you cut ties with him. You move on if you're the Broncos. And it's not so much that he's bad. It's that you're pretty decent. Like, you're a pretty solid team with Teddy Bridgewater as your starter. He's just not great. There's lots of upgrades that you might be able to
So does that mean you think they go draft a QB or they try to trade for one?
They try to trade for a Kirky Worky. You know, you might do a Aaron Cheesehead.
Yeah.
You could do a Deshaun Masseuse.
Oh my! I love the nicknames. This one's a little different because he's like way better than all the other QBs. But Russell Wilson.
Oh, you might move on for the sake of the franchise.
That's kind of why I put it. Yeah.
Not that he's bad. I'm gonna say move on.
Right.
I want to see him in a different jersey.
I would like for them to move on, but if I'm making a prediction, I'm gonna say one more year. Because this team was really battling injury all year. They're in the best conference in football. It was their first down year in like 8 years. So
first down year with Russell.
Exactly. So it's like I don't think you should be too quick to blow it up. And I think Pete Carroll today said that like we're not trading Russell Wilson, but we've heard that story plenty of times before. Taylor Heineke.
Oh, you move on.
Yeah,
there's
move
just
on.
no reason. It like took me a second to even. I was like, what the hell?
I think they should probably draft one. Like they have a young team. You could trade for a guy, but I bet they draft a guy.
Yeah, just draft somebody.
You could actually trade for one though. I feel like there's going to be a lot more trading of QBs.
Yeah, me too.
Than like drafting new younger QBs this offseason. Baker Mayfield.
You give him one more year. He had spurts this season where he did look good. And he loves your city. He loves Cleveland. He likes to play in Cleveland. He caught a lot of flack last year from Cleveland, but whether or not the passion is there, and he has played very well in spurts. So I'm going to say give him one more year.
I think move on. I think you move on from Baker Mayfield. The time is now.
There was the shitstorm that happened.
You got to try to make a trade. Him and the fans got into it. But I don't think it's a bad thing if you bring him back for another year. But I just think it's time to move on. I think that this division that they are in is going to be pretty, especially if Pittsburgh makes a QB move before them. The other 3 teams in the division are better.
Really good.
So, I think you have to try to either try something different because this team showed that they can't follow up the success they had 2 years ago. So.
The moment the Browns get a good roster, the whole division gets loaded.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if Pittsburgh trades for a QB, that division, like the Browns are still really good.
Yeah.
They just won't make playoffs.
Right,
They're
exactly.
just not quite good enough.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't even think about it that way. But I'm going to say you keep him for 1 year.
Right.
The passion and fire. And he did dig your city out of being the shittiest football team.
And he's your winningest QB in the last 20, 25 years. So
he's the face of your
You
franchise.
might owe him one more year.
He's also the face of what? Hulu? What's the one he's always on?
Oh, yeah.
Hulu.
It is
Hulu
Hulu,
Sports.
yeah. What's the one that he's in he lives in the stadium, though?
That's Hulu Sports,
Is
right?
that Hulu Sports?
Or Hulu Live?
Yeah, but that's also Hulu.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it that? Because I think he does two. No, is that Progressive that he does that?
Oh, it might be Progressive.
He definitely does Hulu, though, too. Yeah.
No, because he's always talking about cleaning up the stadium and stuff.
Yeah.
Like helping out around the stadium.
Right.
It might be Progressive.
Yeah. But he does Hulu, though, too.
Or it's
Yeah. Next one, I got a couple more. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy G. That one's tough. I'm going to say give him another year. He had some. This team didn't have Raheem Mostert this year. San Fran also has a talent of just pumping out good running backs year after year. I mean, we saw Elijah Mitchell finally get after it towards the end of the year. You still have Debo. You run it back. You definitely just run it back with Jimmy G. Give him one more year, and then I think you move on.
That one's really tough. I'm going to go with move on, though, strictly because you traded up in the draft to draft Trey Lance. So eventually he has to start, and I think 2 years might just be a little too long to not give him that chance because he did have games where he played pretty well.
Yeah, he did. He had good games.
And Garoppolo, you probably can capitalize on his value. I mean, he was the quarterback of a team that was 1 game away from the Super Bowl. So you can probably get something decent in return for Jimmy Garoppolo to the Denver Broncos. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go with move on. Carson Wentz.
Move on. It's just one of those situations where you could win a lot of games without a good quarterback anyways. So you might as well try and get a better one.
Yeah.
Just move on from Carson Wentz. He's just not the same as he used to be.
Move on as well. You did trade your first-round pick or whatever to get Carson Wentz last year, but this Colts roster is too good to not have a good quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Carson Wentz isn't a bad quarterback, but the Colts roster is so good. They could really imagine if that team had Aaron Rodgers on it or
Pittman would look
Russell
like Devontae
Wilson,
Adams.
or Derek Carr. Even just a borderline top 10 QB. Even if they had Kirk Cousins, they would be much better. So I think you move on because they need to capitalize. They're in a weak division too. Tennessee, how long are they going to be good? Like, you know, obviously it's them, but like Jacksonville's going to suck again. Houston's obviously going to suck again. You got to go get a better QB.
So lucky to be playing in this division. Imagine playing that division.
Last one, Matt Ryan.
You give him till his retirement.
Yeah.
Just let him retire a Falcon. He's a legend. I'm going to say, I mean, should you move on? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Is he going to probably be there next year? I would guess.
I think you keep him. Yeah. It's not even like one more year. It's just like
a send-off.
I think you keep him. He's still pretty good. Like, he's not bad at all. The Falcons, that division low-key is another one that might be kind of wide open because no more Tom Brady. So it's like, who's the Bucs going to get as a replacement? I don't know. So maybe the Falcons could compete. If they trade Calvin Ridley, maybe you trade Matt Ryan, but then you're just bringing in a different quarterback with no weapons. So well, I guess you have Kyle Pitts, but
speaking of Calvin Ridley, did anything ever come out about him?
No.
Why he didn't play?
He's like gonna get traded too, which is really weird.
What a weird season for Calvin Ridley.
It was just personal reasons, but it never like specifically
what
came
were
out.
the personal reasons?
Yeah.
Like, I guess I don't need to know. It's personal.
Yeah.
But like,
stay out of his business, dude.
I also had him in fantasy.
Yeah, so did I.
Like,
and I lost.
I mean, I
fantasy.
traded him before he he actually was out. He was hurt when I traded him.
He sat in my IR spot the whole second half of the season, actually.
You and Park both.
That's it for this episode. Everybody go check us out. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Subscribe, like, download, TikTok, follow us.
If you made it this far.
Oh, yeah. No one commented the last time we did that.
Paul or Jake made it all the way through.
Oh, he did? Did
Shout
he say
out
something
Jake.
to you?
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Shout out to you,
Jake. If you made it this far, Popeyes or KFC? Straight up.
It's valid.
It's
And then whatever you say, we will give you our answers.
we'll give you our
episode.
answers in the next episode.
Because it's easy.
It's not that hard.
All right, bye.
Peace.